Welcome to Digimon.
Hello and welcome to Digimon and welcome to a Deck Profile Wednesday. We don't usually do deck profiles on a Wednesday. However, a couple of things arose with the matches this week. So, we essentially had three matches filmed last week. Two of them had the same decks in them. And we decided we didn't want to have two matches in the same week with the same deck. And then the other match, which was two different decks, unfortunately, was very subject to misplays, unfortunately. It was the first time I was playing a deck on camera, and the first time that one of the others was playing on camera with that deck as well. And it didn't come across very well, I'll be honest. So we decided this week as a team that we'd do a deck profile instead. So the deck profile we are actually looking today was requested a couple of weeks ago on our Leopardmon deck profile. A link to the description will be down for that. And the request was by Diego Sosa 8004. So thank you very much for your request. And it was for the counterpart to that Leopardmon deck, which is the Deva version. So I've put together the Deva version, and this may very well be what I play during the Terriermon pre-release. When that happens, because in the UK, I don't know about our friends over in America and all the other kind of non-Asian player bases, but the pre-release for and just the release in general for Double Typhoon has been delayed, which is really frustrating. We had delays last year in the UK with BT12, so a structured deck pre-release is not as bad as a core set, I suppose. Still kind of annoying, but gives us a little bit more time to prep. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ding that notification bell if you have not. And let's get into the card by card of our Leopardmon Deva deck. And also, just to quickly not be too bashful against Bandai, can we just appreciate the Diaborum on that? Wow. Great stuff. Anyways, on to Leopardmon with Devas. So, first of all, our eggs, because we are running eggs in this one. We have got 4 Cocomon. Reason being is we do have quite a few different effects that suspend things. Obviously, it's got to be one of our own Digimon. That's fine. We have ways of suspending our own Digimon, so that's not a problem at all. And this just allows us to draw one when something does suspend one of our Digimon. So really good to kind of increase our draw power when we need it. Obviously, you do need to be careful because running the Devas, you want to keep your breeding area kind of open for them as much as you can. Don't look into that sentence. But anyways, you've got to be clever with it, is what I'm trying to say. So you need to, if you've got a Deva in hand, don't necessarily want to hatch. But if you don't have any Devas and you've got a rookie and you don't want to use that rookie just for a hard search, then you can hatch one of these out, Digivolve on top, and you're away with the races. Next up, we've got our rookie lineup. So 4 copies of Kunamon. Something you'll notice with the Deva deck as well. The actual lineup is super weird. We've got 4 copies of Kunamon on play. By suspending this Digimon, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 green card among them to the hand, return the rest. So what you can actually do, in conjunction with this Coco, Digivolve on top of this, with either this or the other rookie. Yes, the other rookie. We're only playing 2 rookies in this. And then what you can do is hard play this out. It suspends itself via its own effect. You get a search, and then you get a draw off your Cocomon. Really cool, because essentially you're adding 2 for that, which is really, really cool. But Kunamon is great, just adds any green card generically, which, just FYI, I have built this in mind for the green-only format. I will go into a couple of cards that you can play outside of the green format as well that I usually do stick in. But Kunamon, great search for the deck. Next up, 4 copies of our other rookie and our other main searcher, good old Salamon. So Salamon on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with Beast, Animal, or Sovereign other than Sea Animal in one of its traits, and 1 Digimon card with the Royal Knight traits. This is really great for adding almost everything in the deck. So it adds the Leopardmons, because they're Royal Knights. It adds the Beasts, the Devas, because they've got Beast in their title. It's just a great all-round searcher. It searches pretty much everything we need. Also has a great inheritable of, if you've got one of those aforementioned traits, you gain 2000 DP. So it just helps you with building up a bigger stack as well. Really, really cool card. Next up, our champions. We've got 2 copies of Wendigomon. Now, this guy is actually the card I've kind of put in here to bump up the champion line for the green-only format. Just not because of the cards that I was playing in this were champions. They weren't even Digimon. But just to build up numbers, I figured I'd try and stick some more champions in. So we've got 2 copies of Wendigomon. Has the Alliance stuff. It's play cost of 4, so Leopardmon can just play it out. Really, really cool stuff there. We don't have ways of giving Rush, unfortunately. But because of the way the Leopardmon deck works now with Leopardmon X, we have a lot of control. So a lot of our guys end up sticking on the board for more than one turn quite regularly. But it has that Alliance. And also, if you do Digivolve on top of it, end of attack, if you have another suspended Digimon play, return 1 green Digimon card from your trash to your hand. Obviously, the one caveat with this guy is, and with one other card that we've got, is that he is 3 cost on top of any of our rookies, but it's not really something that we're looking to do. I tend to find with this deck, if I'm ever Digivolving in the racing area, it's only going to go into a rookie, and that's it. I'm usually never going into a sort of stack in the raising, with the exception of one particular card, but there's those. Then, sticking with the Alliance theme, 2 copies of Black Gargomon. Same Alliance effect. Also has the when an effect suspends another Digimon, this Digimon gets 2000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. So they're both really good for certain purposes. So obviously both have the Alliance. This one allows you to recur stuff so long as you've got something that's suspended. And this one gives you more kind of oomph to beat stuff over or clear security if you require it. So really good pair of cards there. Was very tempted to do the, I think it's Touremon, the green-yellow one from EX4. But ended up opting against it just because I prefer these 2 for this deck's purposes. Then our last champion is 2 copies of BT15 Togemon. Lets us play our Tamers for cheaper by reducing their cost by 3 after suspending itself. So again, another thing that triggers Kokomon. So Kudamon can trigger it, Alliance can trigger it, Togemon can trigger it. Great. Also has the inheritable to reduce the Digivolution cost by 1 when you would Digivolve, so long as you have a green Tamer. So can actually come up quite useful there. Really, really cool stuff. Now next are level 5s, and this is where, compared to, we've already seen incredibly low numbers compared to most Digimon decks. Now we're going to see some incredibly high numbers, because we're playing a lot of level 5s. First up is our Deva package. 3 copies of Kambiramon, 3 copies of Vajramon, and 2 copies of Vicaralamon. So these guys all do similar things, but slightly differently. All of them, when they're on play, they get to draw, and they all get to then play something with the Deva trait, so long as you don't have something with the same name in your battle area or your trash, into your breeding area. So you play a Kambiramon, and then as long as you don't have a Vajramon in play or in the trash, you can then put it into your breeding area. It's really cool, really nice little package, like really loving that kind of Mega Zoo kind of theme. They all have the same inheritable of giving piercing to a 4 Sovereign or a God Beast, which you may very well think is useless, but we've got one card we'll get into later on that does take advantage of that. And then each of them have their own effects as well. So Kambiramon's is probably the best. It's an all turns effect, so you can use it on your opponent's turn as well. When one of the opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you draw 1. So that's any reason they become suspended. If they suspend to attack, draw 1. If they suspend to play out a Tamer, draw 1. If they suspend to do anything, draw 1. Vajramon, then if you play an option card with a cost of 1 or more, you gain 1 memory, so he makes all of your option cards cheaper. And then Vicaralamon is kind of the least handy of the lot. But when one of your Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, you unsuspect this Digimon. Apologies, I've got the hiccups today. But yeah, that's our Deva package. Almost, because we've got some other Devas, they just don't do the same things as what these guys are doing. So we've got 3 copies of Mihiramon. On play, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with 7,000 DP or less. Then until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your opponent's Digimon doesn't unsuspend. Really cool card. Also, when this Digimon would Digivolve, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1, which is really good when it comes to Digivolving into Leopardmon X, because he costs 1. So the moment you Digivolve on top of Leopardmon with this in the stack, he costs nothing. Really, really good control tool. Really good way of kind of getting your Leopardmon X out for a lot cheaper. Then our last Deva, 2 copies of EX4 and Telamon. The last of our Alliance cards, and this is really here for that recovery effect. where if you've got 3 off your security, you can use it to end of attack, recover +1. Again, Digivolves for 4 off of all of these, so not ideal to Digivolve into, hence we're only running at 2. But, you know, we can... I don't know why I was looking at level 5s when we were looking at these. But anyways, we can Digivolve off of these guys for 3. Obviously, if you were Digivolve Togemon, it will cost 4. But yeah, really, really good card. And then our last level 5, our only non-Deva level 5, and this is what I wanted to try from BT15, was actually 2 copies of Cherrymon. So really cheap to play out level 6, so it's 6 play cost. You reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 2 level 6 or higher cards among them to the hand, and return the rest to the bottom of the deck. Really cool, because we do play a lot of level 6s in this deck, because this is a big, you know, Mega Zoo type deck. You know, we want to be playing out big boys. And the great thing is that although it's got an end of your turn effect, it's not mandatory, because it is a by deleting one of your Digimon. You play one Digimon with Dark Masters. We play no Dark Masters, so we don't have use for that effect. So the fact that it's not mandatory, really good. Also, generic piercing effect, which is really cool. Give that to literally any of our Digimon that Digivolve on top of it, so really good. Then going into the Megas now. 3 copies of Leopardmon. So good old Leopardmon is kind of the heart and soul of the deck. When Digivolving and main, he can play something out for a reduced cost of 4. So all of our champions are 4, all of our rookies are 3, and then so they can be played out for completely nothing. And then our level 5s, this can be played out for 2, 3, 4, you know, you get the picture. Just a really cool card. And when you do so, all turns when you play another Digimon, all of your green Digimon, until the end of your turn, gain blockers. That's including Digimon that are played after that effect triggers. So you could just get loads of blockers out if you need to. It's really cool. Next up, the man himself, my favourite card in the deck, is Leopardmon X. I'm not the biggest fan of his design as a Digimon. I probably prefer the original Leopardmon, but as a card, he is cool as fuck. So, anyways, he has got when Digivolving and main, just like Leopardmon, and essentially he does the same thing of playing out something with a reduced cost of 4, but if you've got Leopardmon or X antibody in the traits, you can actually reduce the cost further by 3. So essentially you can play out stuff for 7 for nothing. And if you look at our level 5s, the vast majority of them are 7 play cost. The only ones that aren't are Cherrymon, which will get played out for 3, and then Telemon, which will only get played out for 1. So that's still pretty good. Also has a really cool effect when your Digimon get played out, which is you may return one of your opponent's 5,000 DP or lower Digimon to the hand for each of your other Digimon. Add 3,000 to the maximum DP this effect can choose. So the more Digimon you've got out, the higher stuff you can return to hand, which is really, really good. And it does include itself, because it doesn't say when for each of your... oh, no, it's for each of the other... Ignore me. It's very late on a Monday, guys. But anyways, you know, just a really great card. Great for that control. Just awesome. Love him. Then our next level 6, our last level 6, and this is the one that takes advantage of the Deva's inheritable, is 2 copies of Ebon Wumon Ace. I was actually very tempted to put Rust Tyrannomon Ace in this, just to give that a go, but I didn't want to waste the inheritables of the Devas. And also for when I'm not playing in the green only format, the fact that this is dual color is actually really useful. So he allows you to kind of Digivolve on top of level 5 of Deva in the trait for a cost of 3. So otherwise he's a cost of 4. He also, on play, and bear in mind he is 7 play cost as well, so you can potentially play him out for free with Leopardmon X. For each of your Digimon with the Deva or 4 sovereign traits, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then during your opponent's next unsuspend phase, all of their Digimon can't unsuspend. Also has a great on deletion effect, which, because he's an ace, they're going to want to delete him to gain that memory, which is delete one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. So really, really cool. Great card for the deck, just help with that control. And speaking of control, it wouldn't be a green deck if we didn't play Quartzmon. I swear, this might as well be the only level 7 green in the game. There's, you know, in fact, to be fair, technically, I think he is. Someone in the comments can let me know if there is another green level 7. I know there's stuff that digivolves off of green, but He's the only level 7 that green needs. At the end of the day, he suspends everything on board. He gains memory for every 2. Nothing unsuspends apart from itself. He suspends stuff and trashes stuff up to 5. Just, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. To the point where, if you've got any fans of Jank Tank watching, keep an eye on the rulings when we come around to doing Jank Tank 3 regarding this guy. We're not fans of him either, guys. That's all I'm going to say. But, you know, for more meta-relevant kind of scenarios, Quartzmon is the way to go, unfortunately. Next up, we've got 4 copies of Tiger, so we're getting into our Tamers now. Helps us with boosting our DP, reducing Digivolution costs when we need to, only when we're going into level 5s or higher, which, to be fair, we're not doing a lot of the time, but it is something we can do, potentially, with these guys. Not that we generally want to, but, you know, it does happen. But the main thing is that he's boosting our DP. So really, really good card for that. Does also cheapen up the Leopardmons and the Ibn Woos. So, you know, there is that, and also cheapens Quartzmon. So still a very useful card. Then we've got 2 copies of Mimi. So Mimi, of course, is the single best green tamer that ever green tamered. Really, really cool, because if you need to, you can actually... If you've done your Deva play on the previous turn, and you've got your... So let's get a couple of Devas out. Let's get these guys. So you play a Deva out, you've played a Deva into the breeding area. You move up as part of the breeding phase. You've now got level 5s in play. You do this, you hatch, you digivolve, you keep your draws going. Really, really cool. And, you know, just a great interaction. Mimi is still... by far and away the best green tamer, at least in terms of being a memory setter, that there is. Then next up are options. So we've got 4 copies of good old agility training. Again, generic searcher for everything in the deck in the green format, just really, really good. Also, one of your Digimon may digivolve into a green Digimon, and you may reduce that cost by 2. Just phenomenal. Training cards need no introduction at this point. They're just fantastic. And the last card in the deck is 1 copy of Grandel Soul. I'd be very tempted to bump this up. At the moment, I have not got a second copy, actually, which is hilarious. I don't actually even have the original uncommon copies. I've only got this one I got from regionals. So, you know, there is that. But... really, really good card for that removal. We've got so many things on board, you know, so we can get this to cost 6 a lot of the time. I'm very tempted to bump this up. I just have to figure out what to take out. Possibly, as I mentioned earlier, the 2 Wendigos, because I did just pop them in to kind of fill out the greens, because we've got 2 cards that we would normally play in the deck, which we're not currently, because of the fact that they're not green. So... 1 is X-Antibody Protoform. I've actually got a second copy finally on the way for this. You know, just really, really great. Helps us to cheapen the Leopardmon, Leopardmon X, sorry. Also just helps us recur our pieces. Just a great card. I mean, my goodness, Protoform is incredibly good. And then another card we would normally play is also Heaven's Judgment. Although it's yellow, you can play this in any green deck, because all it requires is a green tamer or a green Digimon to be out, and you can then use it regardless of colour, and it then gets rid of just so much stuff, because it activates for 6,000, minus 6,000, then it does so again for each colour your Digimon have. So it will do it again for green, so that's then minus 12, again for purple, that's minus 18, again for black, minus 24. Again, for yellow, you get the picture. Yeah, it can just do so much. I mean, unlikely scenario you're going to have all these colours out at the same time, but the more of these dual colours we've got peppered out on the board, the more damage Heaven's Judgment does. And I usually do play this in the deck, especially in lieu of the fact that I don't have a second copy of Grandel Soul at the moment. Heaven's Judgment is just fantastic. But for the green-only format, I just dropped my X-Antibody Protoform. That's fantastic. But that is all we can play in the deck, you know, because we are restricted to that green colour. So obviously let me know in the comments what you guys are also thinking of playing for the green-only pre-release. for Double Typhoon. If you are in the UK, how do you feel about the delay? Also, if you're in America or wherever else you get Digimon, besides anywhere that's already got Double Typhoon, let me know if you guys have got delays as well, because I don't know if you do. I don't feel like BT12 last year was delayed in America. It was just delayed in the UK. So maybe it's a UK thing, which just sucks, frankly. Clearly, Bandai does not respect the Commonwealth. But I digress. Let me know what you think about the deck, guys. Let me know what you guys will be playing for the green-only format. Like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and see us on Friday for our next match, which will be between I can't talk. It'll be between Leomon, because I wanted to say Heavy Leomon versus the Dark Masters on Friday. But until then, keep it digital.